So, continuing on with issues facing the state of New Jersey. Today we're going to talk about Rutgers University, which is the State University of New Jersey and the university I go to, which I'll be graduating in May. Thank goodness. So let me begin. I enjoyed Rutgers. I had a blast. It was awesome. It's great. It honestly is a good university. It's big, but you can experience so much here, and I really have. I've been grateful. I'm grateful for it. But there are some big issues that I've seen, and they're not being handled good enough, and someone needs to say it, because everything I'm going to say in this video is common knowledge at Rutgers. Okay? There's whole groups dedicated to it who can talk to you about it a lot more. But as soon as you leave New Brunswick or Newark, Camden, nobody knows. Nobody knows anything about it. Unless you read the newspaper, but I know a lot of people don't. So, that being said, I'm going to mention them. And I wrote it down. It was actually quite a lot. But, okay. First off, Coach Graciano of the Rutgers football team. Okay? New Jersey has a budget crisis. Huge budget crisis. So then tell me how Coach Graciano is the highest paid public worker in the state. Okay? Now, this would be cool if Rutgers was like winning huge games against Alabama and all that stuff. But the program's failure, complete failure. The last time Rutgers had a good football program was the year before I went, my freshman year. So I'm a senior now. So that was 4 years ago. So 5 years ago. It's been 5 years since we had a good program, since we beat Louisville, and it was great. But despite this, Graciano still remains the highest paid public worker in the state, and his contract was renewed, I believe, last year. It's like, what? Like, come on, it's not acceptable, and especially it's not acceptable because you compare the prices, how much the university gives to the football program compared to the two basketball programs, and it's just two successful basketball programs, by the way, and it's a joke. Seriously, like, how is this? How can the funding be so much more, and yet the basketball teams are better off? No one even goes to football games anymore. You look at the stadiums, it's like, and they built the stadium, they built it up, and I knew when they were building it during my time at Rutgers, I was like, this is gonna be a mess. The TVs that TV stations that air, they're not gonna shut a stadium because the stadium's been nobody goes. So that's an issue. Next off is more workers' rights. So there's two things: the bus system at Rutgers, New Brunswick, and custodians. Okay. Now the bus system at Rutgers. Now I don't know how it works in Newark and Camden. I know Newark has a bus system, but it's not the same. Rutgers, New Brunswick has 5 campuses. Okay, and people have the classes in various campuses, so they have a bus system so the kids can get around. All fair, right? However, the buses next year, they're getting a new bus company. Okay? Now, the issue was that the current bus company is unionized. Okay? They have their rights. They have workers' rights, and they're paid very well. So, but Rutgers is bringing in some new company, which I don't know much about it, but chances are it doesn't have a union. So again, let me repeat: Graciano, highest paid worker, failed football program, and yet we're getting a new busing system. Just whatever. The next is custodians. Last year, the thing is the same thing with the janitors. They're in a union. Okay. Last year, I remember I was sitting down on the student center, and the union were meeting up. The union met up at the student center, and they were talking about it, and all this stuff. And I talked to them. I talked to one lady, and it's like she just basically it's like they're trying to cut their pay. And I'm like, hold on, When's the last time McCormick, who's the president of Rutgers, of all of Rutgers, took a pay cut? You know, like, yeah, in 2008, I know he didn't accept a pay raise, but come on, come on. You guys are cutting the pay of custodians. It's hard enough living as it is right now, the state of the United States. But they wanted to do that. I don't know what happened with that, because of course nobody covers that issue. Chances are, because I know at Drew University they just they're like screw, like they're just like forget it. You take the pay cut or you leave. I know that at Drew University. I don't know. That's probably what happened at Rutgers, because I haven't seen that lady. Yeah. Next is more about the people attending Rutgers and some unacceptable behavior. Fraternities, Greek life. There's hazing. There's no way to there's just plain and simple. There's hazing. Last year at Rutgers, a girl actually pressed charges against one of the sororities. And you know what? I read the article in the Star Ledger, and it was unacceptable. Like, they wanted to. I read in the newspaper article that they wanted the woman to drink like dirty bucket water, like, you know, from the janitors that they use. I'm like, first off, you could probably die from that. Like, so what are they doing? And you know what? I hate to say it. You know what's another messed up thing is that I would name these Greek organizations, but I can get sued for that. Like, it's gotten to that point. They're so protective about it. So I can't name any, but I'll tell you this: it's a lot more prevalent among the non-mainstream Greek organizations. And you know, it's obvious. It's so obvious. Like, when you see these people and you see them before and after, and they've lost a substantial amount of weight, and it's like, you didn't lose that amount of weight in that short amount of time in a healthy manner. It's not possible. It's not possible. Okay? So they're starving them or something. But again, just Department of Fraternal Affairs, whatever it's called, what are you guys doing? You know, it's happening right in front of you guys, and you guys aren't doing anything. And yeah, is the person is choosing to do it, but come on, it just sets a bad rap for the university, you know, especially when it goes in the Star with the Star newspaper. It's just a bad name. Next is some organizations at Rutgers, and again, I don't know. I'm not gonna name them because I don't want to get in trouble. But there's certain religious organizations which are out of control, alright? And it's basically one religious organization versus another. And it's just like snobby attacks, you know, emails. They send out emails with, you know, to their members with questionable content, and they have like they have like events, and it's just like, in the time, you would imagine that these organizations would preach tolerance, but both major blocks, it's just nope. They no matter how much you paint it, everybody knows your standpoint on it. Like, you're not fooling anyway. And apparently last week there's actually a physical confrontation about this. This is just what someone told me today, but I wouldn't doubt it. Just the behavior of these organizations. And it's, well, Rutgers, don't you see what is going on? So the university needs to go in and say, hey, this isn't cool, or we're gonna cut the funding for your organization, because, you know, the organizations get a certain amount of funding from the university to function. But again, you know, your taxpayers' dollars at work to let these organizations say these unacceptable things and do these unacceptable things. Next is specifically the I guess the education at Rutgers. Now, no, education system is very good. I think it was very good. But there are certain departments which just plain aren't needed. They don't need them. Like, I didn't even know you can major in this stuff. You know, like, it'd be cool as a minor, but as a major. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, I'll give you an example. The Department of Latino and Caribbean Studies should be combined with the Spanish department. There's no reason why they can't be combined. Um, because honestly, they teach the same thing. Like, well, Spanish, you will learn the Spanish language department. I'm not even sure, but it seems that they do teach the same thing. Because the Spanish department has certain classes which are more or less the same as the Latino department. So instead, they should be cost efficient and combine such departments, or make it that these are minors instead of majors. Because what are you gonna do with that? I really don't know. So that's one way the university can get more funding. But instead the university decides to deal with the funding issue by building more dorms, and that's what they're doing at Livingston right now. Building more dorms. It's since freshman year, the university has accepted more and more students. And it's just like, what? Like, there are certain classes which are like, they're just filled with people. The whole classroom is filled. The university is just adding more and more students. It's like, that's not the way to handle it. It really isn't. So that's another issue. Another way the university needs to address, okay, because honestly this is a scam, and I will say it right now. You take freshman year, you get accepted, you take like a pre-test in English and in math and language to know your level of competency. Okay, it's all fine. No, it's not all fine, because the math portion of the test, especially, it has calculus in it. Now, I'm a journalism and media studies major, okay? Tell me why I need to know calculus. The farthest I went in high school was pre-cal, okay? So when I was taking that, I'm like, what is this? Why is there calculus? And there's no excuse for it. And honestly, a lot of students fail because of that. And they have to take classes which don't give them credit. And that's what you need to graduate. You have to take these classes which is just like, it's just basically a way to get money. It really is, okay? Now, if this person was majoring in, mathematics and they failed calculus, yeah, I can see your point. But you don't need someone with a major such as mine needing to worry about pre-cal, or needing to worry about calculus. That's garbage, because not all high schools are the same. And New Jersey, it should be especially obvious. Man. But Rutgers is still a big university. Another issue, parking at Rutgers University. Okay, the parking authority at Rutgers is not Rutgers. Rutgers has put it in control of a private company. Okay, so I'm a commuter, so I drive. So that money doesn't go directly to the university. It goes to this private company. So this private company can decide to raise the price of the parking permit. And it has. This is my freshman year, and which is like it's expensive enough as is for not decent parking and for very crowded parking usually. Now I got one of the cheaper ones, pretty much the cheapest one, and I have to walk pretty far. And it's just like, well, they need to have some sort of like being able to say, this isn't right. Why am I getting charged more for this parking spot? And it doesn't help when it's so crowded that you can't even find a parking spot. What are you gonna do? You have to park at Sears, which is right next to the university. There's a ton of parking at Sears, and that's what pretty much a ton of people do. It's like, come on, fix the parking situation. And Next thing, Rutgers Fest. Rutgers Fest is it's basically a free concert, okay? Now the thing is, they bring in some pretty big names music-wise. This year they're bringing in 303 and Pitbull. Alright? Now, these people are like nationally known, you know, so this is huge. Okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I usually go to Rutgers and I have a blast. But the university doesn't need it. We really don't need it. You don't need a free concert. And honestly, it's fun. It's fun while you're there. But afterwards, it's a mess. It's a mess to get back to wherever you need to go, because the buses are crowded. They're full of rude people. They're full of people who don't even go to university or don't know anybody who goes to university. And it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Like who doesn't go. I'm like, really? Like, they're just leeching off. And it creates a havoc. New Brunswick is a mess that day. It really is. There's drunk people get drunk. There's fighting. The police cannot handle it. It's just a whole mess. So it's fun. I'm admit it. I'll be the first to admit it's fun. It's awesome. But get rid of it. We don't need it, because how much? Can you imagine how much Pitbull and 303 costs? And it's doesn't. They're not charging us a dime. So whatever. And then I guess this is another. Yeah, I'll mention it. New Brunswick, city of New Brunswick. Okay. Maybe this is a more personal, like, personal opinion, but each year, you know, the students, they try to get involved in New Brunswick politics. Okay. And they try to have a voice. They're like, we want, you know, voting power. We want to be able to vote in the local elections. I'm like, first of all, you guys live in the dorms, okay? And you're not, listen, you're not citizens of the town of New Brunswick, okay? They had this huge, last year, they had this huge like referendum, and which was basically like, let students have voting power. And you know what, the people of New Brunswick turned it down. And it's just because listen, students, you're gonna be there for 4 years. You don't have the welfare of New Brunswick in mind. You may have it while you're there, but afterwards, like, whatever. Okay? And you know, it's not even that, because you leave New Brunswick, because you leave Rutgers, right? You go maybe 4 blocks off of Rutgers, and you're in the ghetto. You're in the ghetto. And you know what? They don't none of these students, few of these students will ever go that far. Past 4 blocks, they don't go. I walked around it. It's a completely different place. It really is. It's completely different. It's no longer Rutgers. The sad thing is that the city caters to the New Brunswick community. Everything is catered to them. They're buying power and whatnot, and it screws everybody else in New Brunswick over. It's just complete garbage to me. It really is. So listen, okay, maybe if you no, not even, because sometimes you get students who will stay afterwards because they can't let go of the university, but they always leave. You always leave. You are not a citizen of New Brunswick, so stop trying to get involved. Is that plain? Like, you're only there for 4 years. Come on, and you don't. It's not like you're paying the taxes. Or maybe if you live off campus. But hey, you're giving that to the landlord. So that's my issues with Rutgers. Again, it's an awesome university. You'll have an awesome time, but there are issues that New Jersey needs to address, because this is our taxpayer dollars. I will be paying taxes to Rutgers University, and I don't want to pay taxes when these issues are prevalent in the university. So, go RU.